Got started. This log got some of that blue stain in there. Old Brett and Andrews said that stuff's good as gold. Blue gold, I think. Blue gold. Today's June the 6th, D-Day. Remember D-Day. That really was the greatest generation. You know, all the high schools and colleges just went through their graduation last week. And just so many terrible things have already happened. There was a shooting down here in Hickory, the big town next to us here. There was a pool party for this college graduate. He threw a pool party for himself at his mom and daddy's, or his mama and grandpa's house. His mama and grandpa went in together and bought a house. So he thinks it's a good idea, this boy does, to advertise this pool party on the internet. So he advertises this, and like over 100 people are there at this pool party, and he advertises it as bring your own beer or everything, or which, you know, pretty much says bring your own drugs and beer, liquor, and that it's a topless pool party. I advertised it for this. And said that it's going to cost you $20 to come to the party. So he was making $20 off of each person that came, if they were honest enough to pay him. And then I believe it was after midnight, or close around midnight, somebody, which is more than one person, somebody which is really five people or so, they take some guns and start shooting at this pool party from outside in the yard. The police say that there were over 80 shots fired into this pool party from out at the yard there. So 80 shots fired at 100 people at this pool party. 12 people were shot, and one man, 58-year-old man, was killed. Now, that's just a terrible thing. I knew the boy that threw the party. I went to school with his mama. And I knew the guy that got killed too. I didn't know him well. I just kind of knew of him. I talked to him. also married several years ago another friend of mine that I went to school with. So we used to go out to eat supper and have parties. That was back in my heathen days, back when I was lost and undone, no good, no count. I'd get drunk with them and party. But getting back to her child, just graduated college. He got a degree in some kind of sports management. He wanted to be in the NFL, you know, in the management. Something to do with the players, you know. That mama and her husband that I went to school with, they had gotten divorced, so I kind of lost contact with her. You know, it's really sad, man, that all those lives ruined and that man lost his life, and it's all because of being around people that don't want to live for Jesus. As far as I know, that girl would never took that boy to church. Which apparently, you know, he hadn't, because he wouldn't be throwing a party advertising as a topless pool party. One of the people that was arrested for all this shooting was a young girl, 18 years old, just graduated high school, and now she's charged with attempted first-degree murder. Just terrible. But we got to get our children back in the church and dedicating their life to their Lord and Savior. All these people are, you know, they're all lost. And there ain't no, you know what I mean. crooked log. Down the driveway, and I just saw my cows and my horses here, and I thought I'd take a picture of them right quick. Here's my big old herd of cattle. That's my bull over there, that big black one on the far right. That's Big Dan. He got a tater cave down there in the cow pasture. He likes to go in that tater cave when it gets hot, and he rubs his head on there. That's why his head's all dirty. And then those two laying down right there, those are the newborn calves. They're about 4 months old now, so they're having it easy. Some of our horses. The other two, that's all the livestock we have, these horses and those cows. I gotta spray our field. We're just getting them old yellow flyers in there. I think they're called buttercups. You lose a lot of grass if you let them things grow. You have to spray about every year. There's my old house. Not right there, over here, that gray one there. That's the gray one there. That's the house there. Little old bitty house. Just a little old bitty house. There's my two grapevines I planted last year. One's a scupperdon and the other one's some kind of bunch grape. The neighbor across the road there, he's like some kind of world champion roper. Been all over the U.S. roping steers. That's the steers he's got over there in his field. He buys and trades them and ropes with them. After they learn what they're doing on roping, he'll get rid of them. He wants them to be green. He ain't had them very long. That's his hay field over there. He didn't do his hay the other day when he should have. He missed out. Now the big old pretty tree right there. I used to play with my Tonka truck underneath that tree while my daddy mowed hay over there when that was a hay field. When I was just a little youngin'. That was a dirt road then. A lot of good times. I don't know if you can see my windmill up there spinning, see it through the trees there. I like my old windmill. It was manufactured in 1958. There's an old log I traded a little bit for it. I cut that big oak for that old guy at church, and that one's all twisted up and had some big old knots on it. And I asked him if I could just have that. I'd trade him a little bit of that charge for that. So, trade me a Sawmill sign.